is all about unification and love. Death to all suckers and love to all winners and people who believe. That's it. Salute.
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
A lot of people were kind of shocked, caught off guard at the fact that it's being reported that Hit Boy and Nas haven't spoken to each other in 3 years. Okay, quote, "I don't see us working again." What are your thoughts, Ken, when you hear this being reported by Hit Boy?
I'm disappointed in Hit Boy. You know what I mean? For a lot of different reasons. I rock with homie. He's a hard worker, dope producer, dope artist overall. But anything that you was feeling about Nas or anything in general, you should have never been on that platform. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. That vampire platform, the shit with a V.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how Nas feel about that vampire. All right? And then he sat. You want to play a clip? Because I'm ready to go. You want to play a clip to give context?
That's why I said, for those wondering, who the hell is he talking about, a vampire? Vladimir, man. I do your homework on the history, the origins of the damn name Vladimir. But anyway, what was it? Vlad the Impaler. But yeah, he sat down recently. Hit Boy sat down with Elliot Wilson and Vlad, right? This was random. And this is what essentially was put out, as a clip from the full interview. Let me mute the mic so y'all can check it out.
I ain't spoke to Nas in 3 years. We did 80 songs in 3 years, nigga. I haven't spoke to Nas. You know what I mean? How many albums? We did 6 albums, 80 songs in 3 years. I can't believe you did that. Produced every single song on his album. I want a Grammy.
We would go years like we can't get Nas to make an album. There'll be like all the controversy, but where's, I got to put this out, right? Because can't do this interview without mentioning this. Let's do it. For a long time, I used to say that after Illmatic, Nas was the worst beat picker of all time. Oh, you started that. You started that. You see that? It came from this guy. I was frustrated album after album. He had his moments, but I felt like the magic from Illmatic, which is one of my favorite albums, period.
Yeah.
He couldn't quite match that after.
Do you think he stopped? Because with Illmatic, he had like the great producers, East Coast producers of that time.
Yeah.
Premier, Large Professor. Did you think he stopped like really collaborating producers and trusting producers? Like in a way, he finally probably did with you.
We did a lot of great work, but I don't see us working again. You know?
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Was there a reason why you're not working again?
I mean, it's a lot of reasons, you know what I mean? But it's something I just really don't want to dig too deep in because it's just like pretty deep, you know what I mean? But it's like, respect to what we did get accomplished in 3 years. I ain't spoke to.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard that from the horse's mouth. As they say, Hit Boy himself said it's a deep situation. He didn't feel like elaborating. But, I've seen reports, speculation about the business, maybe the music that they made, something wasn't right on the back. And again, all speculation. What are your thoughts, Kane?
Like I said, I'm disappointed in Hit Boy. Okay? A lot of different reasons. One, you did a hell of a run with Nas. What is it? 6 albums in 4 years. Got to a Grammy. Y'all niggas did epic shit.
Right.
Iconic shit in a short time span. Okay? So you got stuff with Nas that a lot of the legendary producers before you don't even have and wanted to have. Okay? I'm going to say this. I'm going to go on the record. I know of Nas. I know Primo, that's my man. Me and Hit Boy kicked it a few times on a on the net. But I want to say those Nas and Hit Boy albums is the reason why the Nas and Premier album happened as of recently. Because remember, we were supposed to get that album 30 years ago. All right? And everybody was wondering why would Nas lock in with Hit Boy and didn't lock in with DJ Premier or Pete Rock or Large Professor. So you got that, like, you got that badge of honor. Like, damn, Nas locked in with me, not only for one, but 6 albums. 2 trilogy series. So anything you was feeling, you could have sat on a couch with a psychologist opposed to sitting on that vampire platform with that other troll.
You know, I'm really trying to figure out, like, damn, you know, what if all lines of communications have been cut off?
It don't matter.
I'm just saying, in the sense of the severity of the situation, what the hell could have happened to the point where you couldn't get on the phone or deal with them directly? 3 years? And I know a lot of people, you know, in the comments, they're kind of like, you know, y'all pushing it on the beef. But yo, you ain't spoke to the man in 3 years? What happened?
Listen, man. Everybody is different. Everybody's different in how they do they craft. Some people, they so locked in to their craft, it's just that for that moment. But when they off that project or those projects, they go into their own bubble. And Nas strike me as that. I'm not giving him no excuse or none of that, but I'm an artist and I'm a Scorpio, so I know what it is. Like, yo, I be in my own bubble. I need my space. You know what I'm saying? I rock with you, but I got a lot of shit that I'm dealing with spiritually that I fight with within that a lot of people won't understand. So you don't know what spiritual wars anybody's having, let alone Nas or himself or whatever, you know. But I would say this right here, and we about to go into that clip that you're going to play, probably led to these comments. And we're going to let the people know what we talking about when you hit the play button.
Yeah, last night, Nas was at the BMI Awards, won the Icon Award, and he made sure to send out, you know.
He sent shots. He sent shots.
You say it's a shot, but essentially, you know.
it's you know what it is, King?
I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the clip, and I'm going to find y'all the whole clip. Because this is where we at in social media today. Well, all it takes is, you know, several seconds of a clip, and anybody can interpret it as such. Because this was a big moment for y'all. So let's check out this clip by your boy.
Let's do
Elliot.
that.
He snipped this and put it out last night. Let's play the clip.
It's all about unification and love. Death to all suckers and love to all winners and people who believe. That's it. Salute. It's all about unification and love. Death to all suckers and love to all winners and people who believe.
What you think, King?
Nah, that's definitely a shot. Now, if it wasn't for the type of award that he won, I probably would have said, nah, niggas is reaching. Niggas is clout chasing. But define the award he won, and this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. What was the name of the award?
I mean, they said it was the BMI Icon Award. So
say it again.
Icon.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that was his victory speech to all the suckers, nigga. Just You on your podcast or your platform talking about I'm the worst beat picker when I'm about to dissect that in a minute. But in that same breath, you're saying that 2 days later or a couple of days later, I win the BMI Icon Award. So that right there crushes everything that Vampire is saying. Nigga, you speaking against an icon, nigga. That's the universe. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
you go on there.
That's how you kill your haters or these suckers. And he addressed it how you're supposed to address it. You know what I mean? It's all about love and unity. But death to all you suckers and holding the award up, making a victory speech. Yeah, I know your vampires want me to mention your names, but I ain't gonna do that. But in the same breath, I think he's still showing love to Hit Boy, and it's just more or less of get away from them suckers. You feel me? Like it was like a cryptic message.
That's what
if
I'm
you
saying.
will.
That's
I'm
what
gonna land my plane.
Yeah, it's like the whole situation of the interview in itself, you know, he probably would have been better off when I say he, I mean Hit Boy, he would have been better off just not bringing it up because you know exactly where the headlines was going to go.
Facts.
And, that's why I'm like, yo, what could have happened? You know what I mean? There's talks of, you know, him possibly asking for a feature for his pops. But I'm like, yo, I've heard a lot worse, so it can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? For Nas to cut you off for 3 years because you asked him to get on the verse with your pops. Like, to me, that don't sound right. Like, nah,
and I could see that making him take shit personal, right? And the whole scenario played out, you know, a while ago to me, but also just recently, he asked for a feature from Nas for his Pops album or whatever, allegedly, right? We're going to say that. Why you think the Game locked in with his Pops for a whole album? He probably was on this emotional tirade like he is on now. You can tell homie going through it. You know, salute to you, Hit Boy, but if you going through it, you need to, you know, go, you know, lay on somebody's couch. You know what I mean? Just not on that vampire couch. You feel me? That was the wrong couch to lay on. Pause. Okay? He's going to suck your blood and everything else. And then you see how he implemented, oh, yeah, I was the one who said Nas is the worst beat picker and all that. Like, your fucking, you know, train of thought is valid in this hip-hop space. How you going to say that first off the back, off the rip, pun intended and pun not intended? My man Sensei Rip, Forgotten Kings TV. But anyhow, Nas dropped Illmatic, and it was written back to back, 2 classic albums. Forget how you feel. I said this. I was one of the first ones 20 years ago saying this, 30 years ago. It was written, it's better. I love Illmatic, but you talking about grown men rap, but also he was able to, you know, grow as an MC, but also just in the business. You could hear the growth. You know what I'm saying? Nas did Illmatic when he was, 16, 17, he wrote that? And he got that. That's a classic. But then he got another one as a grown man. What we talking about? Off the rip. So how could you say Nas is the worst beat picker? And then we talking about DJ Premier, who's on both albums, track masters. And I say this, I didn't really like the Dr. Dre joint on the Nas Is Coming. I didn't like the Dr. Dre produced track, but Nas going in lyrically on that. What we talking about? The whole Havoc on that second album, multiple times. Heat.
Right. Well, let's play this clip from the awards so we can.
Yeah, let's get it.
You know what I mean? Try to give the benefit of the doubt, because you see, Elliot was like, "Yo, it's a subliminal." They cooking him in the comments for that. But let's hear what Nas had to say right quick. Give me a second. Mute the mic.
Congress guy, pay attention to the good and forget about the communities. I ain't gonna cry. Fuck out of here. Think about our communities that wasn't doing so good, but we had a voice, and that voice was hip hop. That voice was R&B. If we go back, that voice was the blues. That voice was gospel. That voice came from the struggle. That voice came from a language where it was illegal to read because it was so easy to read. And that made somebody feel fucked up. We are who we are. We've been who we are. We built it. I'm just a student, and I'm proud to be here. Catherine, I don't like awards, but I love moments like this, and I appreciate you for caring about all of these incredible artists in the room, from Boston Richie, to say that the city's doing great. I'm the mayor, I'm this guy, I'm the Congress guy. Pay attention to the good and forget about the communities.
Now, of course, you know, there's other parts y'all can check out and see. But this is why I said, you know, it's easy to take a snippet of, you know, what appeared to be a several-minute speech, something emotional, well thought out. You know, you don't want to give the haters too much of your energy, right? In a moment where it's essentially about you and your longevity in the rap game. And this is why I said, man, all of this is crazy, because the timing, you know, you ask yourself, why? Why now? You know what I mean? To me, he could have just kept it to himself. But 3 years, I can't even believe it's been that long already.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. Like, yo, 3 years after a crazy run.
It's some people that never get to speak to Nas. Love Nas. That probably worked with Nas or grew up with Nas. You know what I mean? They saw him in Queensbridge and that was that. Now they got to see him on TV. You got to look at things like that. Nas probably got family members that haven't seen him since he was a kid. Stop being emotional. I'm just saying. You feel me? It's real shit. Don't you got family members you haven't seen since you was a kid? Let me know if I'm lying.
Listen, you ain't lying. You
okay.
know?
What we talking about then?
The assumption. This is why so many people have kind of, you know, sat back like, what you mean? Damn. Y'all not even on speaking terms. Come on. Wow.
And a lot of times it's due to emotion. Like I could guarantee you that situation with Hit Boy Pops, the Hit Boy Pops feature got something to do with it. Okay? I could put money on that. You know? And I was saying this before we was on record. Okay? Been saying this for a while. When it first went down, when Game first did the album with his pops. That's Game listening to Hit Boy, you know, over the phone, or, you know, maybe he came through. Yo, man, could you believe after all the work me and Nas did and got the Grammy, and, you know, we moving with these trilogy series, and people's deemed to be, you know, people deem it as classics and this, that, and the third. Yo, he wouldn't even give a verse to my pops. And Game probably was like, word, that's crazy. Game probably drunk as shit. Like, you know, you see how he moving out here, like how he moving on verses, doing them wild ass dances and shit. You know, I do a whole album with your pops right now. Serious, Game? Yo, I'm dead ass. Game stayed over there for a whole week or whatever, maybe a couple of days. They knocked the album out off that conversation, allegedly. I'm going to just say that.
Salute world, I need y'all to do me a favor right now and check out this amazing poetry book by author Linwood Jackson Jr. titled Becoming, Wrestling with Life. All right, available right now at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. But if you want to order your copy today, make sure to hit the link in the description. All right, recently Linwood Jackson Jr. sat down on Conversations with Rip, and we had an interesting dialogue about religion versus spirituality in 2026. So if you want to check out the full interview, make sure to hit the link in the description. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for supporting the platform. And if you're interested in promoting your business, your brand, your book, music, listen, hit us up at Forgotten Kings TV. That's with a Z at gmail.com. And listen, we can have that conversation today. All right, again, appreciate the support, but let's get back to the clip.
Pain is necessary, but at the same time, I think it depends on what you do with that pain. Because as a writer, I love to write in a state of emotional dreariness. Emotion is necessary for art. Any kind of art, you need to be able to sense a loss of yourself in order for that art to shine in the beauty that it's supposed to be. And I don't think that's just held to art. I think that that's held to everything. And I think that if a society and a culture and a community of a culture and society has been so beat down and felt pain and has yet to do anything about that collectively, I think that that pain has become a source of something else than what it needs to be. Or that pain has been somehow structurally conceived to be defined in a way to where it can be a coping mechanism. We're going to cope through this pain now, and we're going to have this as our story, our continuing epic, but at the same time, the revelation of the necessary pain and alleviation from pain never taking place, one has to question what pain actually is to be defined as to such a community.